You know, I finally figured out what this channel is actually becoming. It is a giving back of all of the memories and experiences that one goes through over 20 years into a concise summary, such that it should maybe, hopefully, be able to help someone else without them having to go through all of the crap. So all the times, you know, you go through life, you get robbed, you get bashed, you go through relationships, very bad ones, very good ones. In hindsight, some could have been good, but you were bad, or they were bad, or both were bad. Both were naive. You go through marriages, you go through people being born, people dying, the whole thing that you can think of, every trouble. You go through a war zone, you go through many things we don't even talk about here. And you take all these lessons. So there you go. What's the one I want to say today? Sometimes someone who comes from a family where the family places conditions on them in order to be accepted might say to themselves, I wish I had a family that loved me for who I was. The thing is, you got to remember, if it helps, that in many cases it might very well be that they lack the capacity to actually give that type of love in general. They might be of a certain personal genetic disposition that prevents them from loving someone without coercion, and that's not good or bad. As I said, you got to talk, you know, get your way out of that if you can. But you quite often will think that because you have the capacity to love deeply, that the person who might be your father, mother, brother, sister has that same capacity. But sometimes they actually don't physically have it. So if they only love you based upon you doing things for them, it's not that they are choosing not to love you necessarily. It might be that that's actually the only way they understand how to do so. That doesn't mean that you actually stay in that situation. It just makes it easier to think that it's not about you, it's actually about them.